G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome. Welcome to Jim's 5am Club, and believe it or not, I'm being chauffeured at the moment by my long-suffering wife Paula. We're on our way to Hunter Valley, and I just needed to have some time to put together another couple of Jim's 5am Clubs, and I'm running out of time. I've got my birthday next week, and I've got a goal of achieving 1,000 vlogs by the 27th of May, and there's quite a few still to go. So here we go. So today I want to take you through a book summary entitled Best Self.
There's an object on road ahead.
By an author named Mike Bayer. So the author here kicks off with a lovely little quote. I'm just going to make sure that we're all safe here. Paula's a great driver, but it is a bit overcast, it's a bit wet, and there's a lot of traffic on the road. But on that note, the author here tells us that it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. And in fact, in nature, plants not only want to survive, but they also want to thrive. So our birthright as humans is to not only survive life, but to thrive and be the best at what you can be. But what we learn over the years, and for those of us who have been through the education system, university, have worked in corporate life, that the school system does not encourage thriving. Because from a very, very young age, you know, all that people seem to tell us is what we're doing wrong. So the first formal point to come out of this book is that each and every one of us need to start defining the best version of ourselves and take the first step towards reaching our full potential. And the following few messages that this book gives us are just absolutely powerful and profound. And we've said it time and time again, but we need to remind ourselves that nobody has your exact experiences, thoughts, traits. No one will ever be like you, ever. Nobody. Each and every one of us are unique and special. And we all have one shot at, I guess, making the most of that uniqueness that we all each have. But the interesting thing is that nobody has ever taught us how to take advantage of you, of me. Nobody's taught me how to take advantage of me and reach my potential and be the best version of myself. The author then goes on to mention a couple of other things here which can be a little bit sensitive depending on how you've been brought up and the experiences that you had as a child. But the author then reminds us that each and every one of us are born with a blank slate. From the day we're born, we're all born with a blank slate. And that slate is filled, first of all, by our parents and carers, and all the people who come into our lives from the day of our birth to those early years as toddlers, our carers, our grandparents, our uncles, our friends, family. And all of those people who come into our lives don't have a manual in terms of how to bring us up so that we can achieve our greatest outcomes. In fact, a lot of us grow up with the limiting beliefs that we inherit from those around us. The author goes on to say that our parents did the best they possibly could to raise us, but at the same time, you know, they were competing, they were working, They had their own challenges, and they had many distractions, as did we have as children. But it's important to understand that our parents did the best they could to give us the best, but in doing so, we've all grown up with a number of limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs, in many ways, we've inherited them, but the people who pass them on to us may not have known that those beliefs would stick with us and limit us during our growth and development throughout the years. You know, once again, the teachers at school, our family, our friends, our bosses, our work peers, all of their input into our lives has either helped us grow and develop in some ways, but in other ways has also put up barriers to hold us back. The author here then goes on to say something which I absolutely love, and that each and every one of us have two versions of ourselves. So each and every one of us have two versions. You've got two versions, I've got two versions, my wife Paula, is sitting next to me, has two versions. And what are those two versions, do you think? Well, the author makes it very simple and says that the two versions that we have are a positive version and a negative version. And the trick is to try and figure out which version is in control of your present and your future. So that's a real powerful metaphor. So the author then invites us to do an exercise, and the exercise is to write down in your journal what your positive traits are, what you think are your positive traits. And the author then also says that what you may want to do is to ask the people around you what those positive traits are. But of course you need to engage people that you trust. You can't just ask anybody the random question. So you're better off just being a bit cautious in terms of who you ask these questions of. But you'll be surprised at the feedback that you get. The second formal point to come out of this book that the author talks about is that we all need to somehow summon the courage to annihilate the fear that holds us back. And the only way we can do that is with the power of honesty. We need to be honest to ourselves. Because the author says, and I agree with this, that the greatest obstacle that you have in your life is the fears that we have, and we're always trying to dodge something which we're fearful of. So the author says that we need to be honest with ourselves, because fear is always lying to us. The greatest deceiver in our lives are the fears that are deceiving us and are holding us at bay. So another exercise that the author suggests is that we write down what fears do we have and what fears are holding us back. And what will happen, and I like this perspective that he takes, and he says that what we're looking for is we're not looking for specific fears. What we're looking for are themes. Because what happens is you'll find that there is a theme, there's a thread that links different fears in your life, and those fears have been with us since we were young. And once you identify a theme, then you're able to address it. So the next thing that he talks about here is that you need to believe in your truth, not the truth of anybody else, but you need to sit down and be honest with yourself and identify what your truth is, and you need to believe in your truth rather than the lies of self-doubt. Because remember, as we're saying, self-doubt, fears, all of those undercurrents are not real. A lot of them are irrational, are imagined, and if you test them, if you honestly test them and push yourself, the author here is suggesting that what you'll find is there's a lot of lying in your self-doubting. So the goal is to get down on paper and answer the following questions. My fear is, and just be free to write out what your fears are. And then the next question is, it's keeping me from, and try and answer that freely. And the third one is my plan to stop it becoming reality is, so that'll give you a roadmap and a plan in terms of how to get around it. So the last formal point to come out of this book is where the author says that it's critical to take care of yourself first. Each and every one of us have a major responsibility and accountability to our parents, to our grandparents, to our forefathers, to our families. And that responsibility and accountability is to take care of yourself first. In order to take care of others, you first need to look after yourself so that you're strong enough, well enough, and have the ability and capability to then be generous with those around you. The author says, always serve yourself first. Serve yourself first through self-care, because with that self-care, you will generate both emotional and physical energy. I'm looking at all these cars as we're going past, and I feel that a lot of them are going up here to the Greek feast or festival at Hope. So I can't wait till tomorrow. So once again, it's all about serving yourself first, and that's not being selfish in any way, because great leaders need to save themselves in order to continue the battle and to serve their to families and to lead their families, friends, armies, organizations, communities. So the way we do it, how do we serve ourselves? How do we look after ourselves? How do we take care of ourselves first? And it's pretty simple, according to the author. And the first thing we need to learn and to practice is to learn how to de-stress through mindful breathing. Breathe it out. If you're stressed, if you're fearful, if you're worried, the first thing you need to do is to de-stress through mindful breathing. And that's in through your nose, deep breaths, and out through your mouth. Really, really simple. And it's the sort of lessons that you can teach children, you can teach your parents, anybody who's stressed, anybody who's having a panic attack. As I say, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical practitioner, but I'm just passing on the lessons from this author to say that you can breathe out stress and you can learn how to relax through mindful breathing. The other things that the author talks about are the things that we all know about. It's important to exercise and to do purposeful exercise on a regular basis. The author talks about the importance of sleeping. As basic as it sounds, you know, our parents have been telling this for years. But if you sit and think about it, how many of us actually do it and practice it? Because the author then goes on to say that we need to find a balance and have some passions and some interests in our lives to keep us going and to allow us to express our positivity. Because Because if you have some passions, if you have hobbies, if you have interests, and you practice mindful breathing, you exercise, you sleep, then life can be a lot better. So what we need to do, each and every one of us, is to understand, as we said before, that we're all unique, we're all special, and in order to reach our potential, we need to eliminate the time wasters and make room for the things and people that we care for and that we can express ourselves and live our lives and make the best contributions to. So I guess I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me in the passenger seat on the way to the Hunter Valley. I've enjoyed delivering this 5 a.m. club. I don't normally do 5 a.m. clubs with an audience, but what I've just realised is I've got Paula here next to me, driving and doing a great job. But I've also got the vlog on live. I normally do my vlogs to private and then post them to live, but this one here is live at the moment, so I'm not sure who's watching me. But Yasas, I hope to see you at the Hunter Valley over the next day or so. And let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and take care. And hopefully we can take a couple of points out of this book entitled Best Self by Mike Bayer, and incorporate it into some of the skill sets that we have in our lives so that we can live, learn and pass it on. Yasas, Filakia from Jim's 5 a.m. Club, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now. Ciao.